Hello everybody and welcome back. Now, in this video what I'm going to be talking about, if you didn't read the title, that I'm gonna be sort of reviewing or talking about is the Karol G event or festival pass that just recently came out around a week ago. Is it bad? Is it the worst festival pass in the game, and should you buy it? Now, personally, videos like this, basically maybe festival passes talking about things like this, it's entirely opinion based because it all depends if you like the artist. Now for me, personally for me, I don't really like Karol G. So I'm again not trying to be biased or anything, but I'm trying to be, as neutral as I can with it, this sort of topic. But I've been seeing a lot of people say that this is the worst one ever, like the worst festival pass out of any other ones. And I feel like it's maybe a yes and no. So I'm going to be talking about, is it the worst? Now, for festival passes, what I'm looking for is good songs, like, songs that they offer, maybe from other artists, good instruments, and maybe if Epic does, songs of their own, and hopefully maybe better like emotes or auras. The auras are kind of cool. They can sometimes be cool, and songs of theirs sometimes have been really bad and sometimes have been pretty good. Now, this is what I'm looking for that, and also a variety of instruments. I don't just constantly want, just a bunch of guitars over and over, because I want instruments or designs for all my instruments. I don't just want to have like six different basses, like five different guitars, and then like maybe two fucking microphones and one drum set, which is basically what I have. Now, for the Karol G event, I mean the festival pass, honestly, I would say that there really isn't much that I like in it. Now, I will say the keytar that's in the last tier for the free pass is cool. I guess it's all right. It's not that bad. The aura, the constellation aura that it showed, I think that aura is actually kind of nice. Probably one of the better ones. And definitely the best in this specific festival pass. The songs, I mean, they're really not that good. Mostly because I'm not a huge fan of, Karol G. I don't really listen to her. I'm not a huge fan of like reggaeton artists. I don't really listen to many of them, and she's definitely not one of them. And yeah, based on the songs that I've heard, I don't really like it. Not really. The instruments, I mean, it's sort of fitting the theme, I guess, with Karol G, and sort of like a vibey, chill vibe or whatever with the neon design. The emote with it, it's alright, I guess. And yeah, I would say the only song I guess is good is The Nights, which is the second tier on the premium pass. The microphone is not really that great, I guess. Many of the instruments aren't really that good. I think the only one that is good is maybe the one that's in, I guess, the two that are in the premium and festival and the free pass, the last one. Now, for the item shop one, I guess the other version, the other style of Karol G. Again, I'm not gonna really talk about this one. It's just there because I'm not a huge fan of Karol G, and I'm not really gonna talk about this. So I don't really like it. It's not really the best. Now, when I compare this with other festival passes, let's compare it to many of the other festival passes that have come out. In total, there have been, The Weeknd, Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish, and Metallica. So there's only been four. And I know that's not really much to go for right now, since there's only been five festival passes right now. But I'm going to be talking about each one of them separately and talk about what's good on their own way. What's good? What did they offer? And was it worth it? So let's talk about the first one, which was The Weeknd. So The Weeknd was the first festival pass to release on Chapter 5 Season 1. And what it offered, so when you bought the premium pass, it gave you a free aura. And for the free one, it gave you Butter Barn, a free aura, many of the other sort of mid free songs that Epic made, and a free banana guitar, which was one of the few like first instruments to release for a guitar. And then for the premium, it gave you a free mic, one of the songs from I think Fall Out Boy. I think that's what they're called. The band is. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. And then a free bass, Gangnam Style, another cool bass, Poison, which is I think is actually a really good song. The ugly guitar, I don't like it. And of course, Blinding Lights from The Weeknd, one of his most popular songs, and a free Aura, and obviously the skin. Now, what I would say from this is, I would say the premium pass was actually worth it. I think the premium edition did have a lot to go for. It had decent instruments. It had really good songs. It had one of The Weeknd's most popular songs, which is pretty good, and The Weeknd himself. And I would say I guess the free edition, I can't really say that it's the worst thing ever because this is when it just first started. So I can't really blame them for starting off horrible or anything because it wasn't horrible. It wasn't the worst thing ever. It really wasn't. So I would say this one isn't really that bad. It's all right. I would say they should have fixed a few things with the free one, but it's what they were trying to go for. They tried to give us a lot of the free Epic Game songs that they've made for us, and have that for the free edition, so we can at least start off with a few songs as well, not just popular artist songs. So I would say this one is not the worst one. It's definitely a good one. I think it's a decent one. The premium edition, I would say, was kind of worth it because it offered good songs. Poison, Gangnam Style, um, the other song, I don't know what the name of it was, and obviously Blinding Lights. I think they were good, and the instruments that they offered were decent at best, I guess. They were alright. I think the only one that I didn't like was the guitar, the ugly monster one, but it was okay. Now, for the Lady Gaga event, what it offered, again, I'm not going to talk about at all any of the loading screens or paints, for walls. I'm not talking about those at all, or even emoticons, because those are useless. No one ever uses them anyways. Maybe loading screens. But what it offered was an 8-bit song from the Llama Bell, and I'm not sure what the other emote was. I forgot what it was. It was like in season 3, I'm pretty sure. In Aura, I kind of forgot how it looked like. The two emotes that it offered for a drum set and the guitar was okay at best. And then the songs, again, like I said, 8-bit, and then offered Bloom and Best Buds. Again, if you ever watched the video that I made of ranking free Epic Game songs, you'll know that these are not good songs. And again, the instruments it offered, the drum set, which I think is kind of okay. It's kind of cool, I would say. And for some reason, it's the only drum set that I actually have because it's the only drum set you've been given for free from any of the other passes that you've done. So yeah, this is the only set I have. And the bass, I'm pretty sure that's a bass, is okay. It's not really surprising. It's not really that eye catching. And then for the premium, it offered another bass, another song, I think from Nelly or some shit. I can't. Sorry if I pronounce his name wrong or something. Another song that's kind of mid. I'm not sure what the next song underneath Bloom is. A guitar that I never really actually saw or saw anyone use. And then of course Lady Gaga's Just Dance, one of her most popular songs, and an emote of her, I'm pretty sure, for her and Lady Gaga herself. Now for this festival pass, it's not really that great. Mostly because it didn't really offer that many good things for both passes, for the free and for the premium. Because the thing that maybe was the best for the free ones was obviously the instruments. The instruments were the best parts, and maybe the emotes or maybe the aura. But that's pretty much it. And then the premium, the instruments, they're okay. I kind of forgot how they look like. I don't really see them. They kind of look forgettable. Songs, I mean, they decreased it by one now for some reason. We got like 4 in the Weekend one. This time we only got 3. And oh no, 4. My bad. There is 4, but 2 of them are kind of like forgettable shit, and the other 2 are okay. And the skin itself is not really that good. It doesn't really look that great. I'm not criticizing Lady Gaga at all and how she looks. I'm not. Just not a skin that I really would ever wear at all. And honestly, this was on skin like another. This was the first festival pass, I would say, where I don't think I ever really saw anyone use the skin like ever. I don't ever recall, maybe, but in this one I completely forgot to mention there was also wristband quest. Now the wristband quest, what they offered was, if I recall, the crab emote with the guitar, something else if I recall, and also a golden guitar. Now the guitar, I would say, is kind of nice. I think it definitely was decent at best. It definitely was pretty good, and it was free. And it, I think back then it felt like Fortnite Festival with trying to complete the wristband quests were less grindy than now, because now when I'm trying to do the wristband quests for, Karol G and get the instruments, it's definitely much more challenging now because you have to get a lot more wristbands than before. If I recall, the most you needed to get the last reward was 9, and I think that was for Lady Gaga, because I don't think the Weeknd had any wristband quests yet. Feel free to correct me on that. But yeah, it was less challenging, but I think the challenges were a little more harder if I recall. For example, having to if I recall having to finish a song with 75% having like perfect notes, like actually doing really good with the notes. So it was challenging for many people. But I think later on they decreased the challenge on that and made it only like 50 or 25%. So that definitely made it easier, but they also increased the amount of, quests that you need to complete to get those rewards, which I understand because it's meant, for the festival pass to last long. But for me, I grind so much in this fucking game for the festival pass, at least, that at that point I finished the festival pass in probably like in a week. So yeah, the quest rewards, like the wristband quest, it was okay. I think the emote's kind of goofy, and the instrument, at least it's good because it's a guitar, at least different from the ugly monster guitar that everyone had. At least it's a better one. So the Lady Gaga event was not really that great, but I'll talk about that later when I sort of rank these songs or rank these festival passes later on. Now moving on to the Billie Eilish season. Now, Festival Pass season 3, I would say this one definitely looks better than before. Now what I mean by that is the songs that it offered for the free one, besides one, were garbage, I would say. Because, of course, it released the most atrocious song in the game, Silly Bros. The Savor the W as a song, and another song from, I forgot what artist it's from, but it's called Runaway. They brought two other songs from them, but I guess they made this song as a tier now. And then the instrument it offered was only one for some reason. It only offered one instrument, which was a bass, if I recall, a bass that's just sort of like a lava design on it. And the songs that I said that was the best one is obviously Change, and Change is the best one. I think one of the best epic game songs in the game, I would say. And the emote and the aura it offered, aura, I don't really think about it too much, and the emo was okay, I guess. The auras are all right. Now for the premium edition, it offered maps from Maroon 5. It also offered one of Billie Eilish's songs, and the instruments was a microphone and another guitar, and also some other aura and a song that I don't recognize at all. I don't think I ever played it, and Billie Eilish herself. Now for Billie Eilish, I would say, also if you bought it, you get her herself. But I guess for the premium edition with the premium pass, if you get to the tier 11, you get glasses, which is kind of goofy, but it's whatever. Now what I would say is the song, the maps, and I think Billie Eilish's song are good. I'm not sure again about the other song and the instruments. I can't really recall or like can't see them properly, so I never really saw those instruments, but they kind of look decent at best. And I would say that the skin that they made for her is pretty good. I think the skin that they have for her is good. They definitely did really well, and definitely made a better design more compared to like Lady Gaga. I feel like the Lady Gaga one was not really that great, but for Billie Eilish it definitely was really good. And again for the combat version, I guess, or whatever, the other version of Billie Eilish, the red version, was also pretty good as well. And I would say they definitely did well with this pass. Much more better than the previous ones. And also it also gave you more wristband quests and also decreased the difficulty on the challenges now for them. So let me show you this. So here are the wristband rewards, and I'm guessing this is why they only had one instrument, to be in the festival pass, because they put two in the wristband quest. And the guitar is kind of it's okay. For some reason when you get it, it's really big, but it's a decent guitar. And the microphone is also okay as well. It's not really the best, but it's decent at best. It's okay. They're not really that great, but they're good. I'm not saying that the worst ever. But again, what I'm saying in conclusion for Billie Eilish is I would say that they did pretty good for Billie Eilish, and they definitely improved compared to the previous season, and I guess and also improved with some things, but there were some problems with it as well, like dog shit songs that Epic Games made, like Silly Bros, and then the other song Runaway wasn't really that great. But they did okay with this. They definitely made the skin pretty good, and I mean the skin itself would probably be around 800, 1800 V-Bucks, but I mean the pass included the skin and many other things like instruments and everything, which were okay. They were pretty good. I definitely feel like I should have bought in it to see it myself, but I didn't have the V-Bucks for that at that time because I was trying to buy battle passes, not festival passes. So recently, I think the only pass I've bought was actually the weekend. But I would say with this one they did pretty good. It's not the best. I wouldn't say it's really not the best, but they did pretty good and improved from the previous season, I would say. Alright, moving on to season 4 for Metallica. Now, Epic Games seriously, cooked with this one, I would say. Now, what they offered for the free edition was Somp, which is one of the best Epic Games songs that they've made. Two auras that were, again, okay. Honestly, many of the auras aren't really that surprising. They're just okay to have. An emo and a free guitar that you would have. It's a slurp guitar that can have different styles if you have the premium edition. Now for the premium edition, it offered four, the four members of Metallica right now: the guitarist, the bass player, the drummer, and the singer. And what it offered as well for the song was one from Metallica, a free guitar, or not, I guess I think that's a guitar, and a drum set. Now, I think this is actually a really good steal because normally a skin for Fortnite would be around 1800 V-Bucks, maybe 1500 to around 2000, 2400, somewhere around there. So, for a festival pass that offered many of these good things for 1800 V-Bucks, four skins, a good song, decent instruments, really good instruments, and one of their most popular songs as well, one is really, really good. They really did well with this season and offering really good rewards. It really seemed worth it in the end because it offered four skins you can use, which is amazing for 1800. V-Bucks. Pretty good. And again, the wristband rewards. The ones on the left aren't wristband rewards; they're bonus rewards, and those is actually the instruments that the members use, and those are actually super fucking dope. And again, the quest rewards, the wristband quests, are on the right. So in total, you're actually getting around like what, seven, around, yeah, seven instruments in total, and they have different varieties of instruments. So it's not just over and over bass and guitars. It's a bass, a drum set, and a microphone and a guitar, or two different guitars. So I would say this season they really did well with, because they offered so much for this season that it was insane. It was such a massive steal that I honestly regret not buying it, because it offered many, many good things for the festival pass. Unfortunately, I did not have enough V-Bucks for that pass, so I didn't really get to buy it. And I kind of did want to buy it because I don't have any. I really still only have one drum set for you know my drum set. I still only have one, and it would still be nice to have the Metallica members in my locker. I maybe once in a while might use them if I want to, and still the instruments that they had to offer were pretty dope, and it's a shame. But again, I would say that this season that they did, at first I hated it. I'm not a huge fan of Metallica, not a huge fan like other people like Dylan or something. But now that I look more into it, listen to their songs and everything, I think that this season was really worth it. And if you didn't play it, you kind of missed out. Even if you didn't get the the free stuff, you still kind of missed out because they were pretty decent at best. So I would say that Epic did really good with this one. And now we're finally moving on to the last one, which is Karol G. Now again, going back to the Karol G Festival Pass. For this one, again, it's not really that great because it offered three Epic Game songs that aren't really that great. They didn't really offer anything else for the free edition. The thing that's really just the best is just the guitar that's for free in the last one. And for the free edition, or the premium edition, my bad. For the premium edition, all it really offered that was really that great was just the last instrument and the night song. I guess the other two instruments are okay, but not really that great. Honestly, it doesn't really have that, excitement of how they look. So honestly, the skin as well. I mean, it all really depends on if you like her. It all depends if you like Karol G and the songs that they offered. I don't really know about Afrojack and her song that she made and the other song, but it's not really that great. It really isn't. It's not really things that you can offer to people that, even if they don't like Karol G, there are some other things that they might like in this past that is worth buying for 1800 V-Bucks. I don't know, it went from amazing with the Metallica pass to just back to sort of mediocre with, like, the Lady Gaga event. So yeah, this one, I don't know, it's not really my favorite of all time. Also, I guess another thing that I could mention from Karol G is that apparently she's not really a good person. Apparently she has some things like, being racist, being transphobic, and being a Zionist, but those things I'm not going to talk about at all because I don't know much about it. So take that with a grain of salt and do your own research on that, because I'm not going to talk about that, and I'm not going to try to use that to sort of, use it against the festival pass. So I'm just going to say, honestly, from all these current, or previous passes that they've made recently for, festival passes for different artists, The Weeknd, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Metallica, and now Karol G. Based on that, it's really hard to decide if Karol G deserves to be in the place with Lady Gaga. I don't know if she's worse or if she's as the same as, quality for Lady Gaga. So what would my place be for, ranking? I would say obviously the best one would be Metallica, because if you don't know, Metallica is one of the most popular bands in the world ever, probably, because they're really popular. They were really popular back in the day as well, and they made really good songs. Many of the songs were really long, so people enjoyed that. And what they offered for their festival pass was really good. They offered so many good things and many free things for people that didn't even want to buy it. Even if you didn't want to buy it, you would still get some good stuff if you spent some time on the game and eventually got the free items like free instruments and free songs, things like that were actually good. And if you did buy them, I would say it was worthwhile, because you only spent 1800 V-Bucks and you got skins that probably would have been around 2000 each, maybe. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I would say that one's the best. It's tough to decide with Billie Eilish or The Weeknd, but I guess I'll put The Weeknd second. But it's mostly because it was a first one and they did okay with it, especially with the songs that they offered for the premium edition, and the skin itself was pretty good. And again, obviously The Weeknd with the songs that they brought for him, like Take My Breath and Save Your Tears. It's a shame that they never brought Starboy, but at least they brought Blinding Lights. But yeah, they did pretty good with that one, I guess. Unfortunately, there was no wristband quest on it. But then again, Billie Eilish did also good with that, because it offered a good song for the free edition and wristband quests that were kind of worth it in the end, I guess. That gave you some decent rewards, I guess, in some way. And of course, Billie Eilish herself, who's recently becoming even more popular every day, based on recently, apparently I've heard that Billie Eilish is only like 1 million listeners away from becoming the most listened artist on Spotify, which is crazy to me, but that's cool, I guess. Cool for her and good for her. And so I would say, yeah, she definitely sort of deserves third. It's not the worst, and it's still above average. She did pretty good, or at least Epic did really good with her festival pass, and the skin itself, because the skin itself looks really good. I really wish I kind of bought it now, but oh well, it happens. And next one, it's a tough choice. I really don't know who I should decide on for who deserves fourth and who deserves fifth, because both of the things that are left is Lady Gaga and Karol G. I just don't know who to decide on, because for Lady Gaga, she really didn't offer that many good things. It really wasn't that great. The instruments were just okay at best, and the songs that they offered for the free edition weren't good. They really weren't. And it's a really tough decision, because they didn't really offer many good things either with it's called Karol G with the free edition as well, and the instruments were just okay at best as well. So it's a really tough decision to make and say what is the worst one currently in the game. Is it Lady Gaga or is it Karol G? So I might change my opinion on this later. Maybe, I'm not sure. But honestly, maybe it's based on because I know Lady Gaga more than Karol G, because I would actually sort of like some of her songs, some of the songs that they released for that event were good. But for Karol G, I'm just not a fan of her, and I don't really like her songs at all. So, like I said earlier in the video, this is all based on who you like. If you like Lady Gaga, then you might like the Festival Pass. If you like Karol G, then you might like the Karol G Pass. But based on what I've seen, the two are basically like the same. Not saying like, music wise, I'm saying like how the quality are for both of the passes, because for both of them, honestly, I haven't really seen anyone at all use the Karol G skin at all. And if I have, it's maybe only been a handful, maybe. And it was the same thing for the Lady Gaga. So I guess based on me, because I have listened to Lady Gaga more than Karol G, I would say Lady Gaga deserves fourth and Karol G goes fifth. But again, this is entirely opinion based, because again, I don't listen to Karol G, and I'm trying to be neutral as I can. And I'm not gonna try to criticize her, saying, "Oh, she's dog shit and everything." And if I do make those sort of jokes, I'm just really joking. But again, it's not really that great with what they offered for her. The instruments were okay, and the things that they offered, even for the wristband quest for Karol G, weren't really that great. So that's why I'm saying that she's worse than Lady Gaga, because at least for the wristband quest, it was decent at best, because it offered, I guess, a goofy emo and a decent guitar that was kind of nice. But for the one for Karol G, it's not really that great from what I'm seeing right now. I know I haven't gotten it yet, but it's not really looking like it's worth spending all that time I'm spending to get that item. So yeah, honestly, I just have to go with it. I just have to go that Lady Gaga is in fourth. Not really the best, but she's not the worst, I guess, because Karol G's the worst. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt and saying that maybe she deserves fourth. Maybe I'm just being, dramatic and saying that she's not that bad. But I just, whenever I listen to her songs, I'm not a huge fan of it. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of many reggaeton artists. I'm only a huge fan of maybe one or two, and it's not really the one. And it's not. She's not one of them. What I'm trying to say. So yeah, based on everything, I would say I understand the criticism with everything. Only really the criticism of what they're offering for this season. But I'm not really sure about any other thing that they're criticizing for like, based on like, social stuff, like, allegations and everything. I'm not sure about any of that, because I don't want to bring up anything like that. I'm just trying to rank, festival passes. So I would say, honestly, hers is definitely the worst overall. And it's a shame, because actually, it's not really a shame. I'm not really sad about it. I'm not a huge fan of her, and it's just kind of mid, because it's kind of boring and it's not really that great. The things that they're offering for it wasn't that great. I guess maybe one thing that was actually good for the quest was, it wasn't really a wristband quest, but it was a quest that it gave you if you watched the Karol G event, was a free base, which I think it was kind of nice, I guess. But it's again not the best. But take it with a grain of salt and understand that Lady Gaga and the Karol G passes, I feel like even if I say Lady Gaga is fourth and Karol G is fifth, I still feel like they're the exact same. Like they're the exact same quality, because they're really not that great overall. It's just Lady Gaga won fourth place with just a trim, just a slim of hair, just barely got to fourth place, I would say. But again, maybe I might change my decision. Maybe I might change my choice, and maybe I'll think about it if does she really deserve last place and is she the worst one. And overall, I would say from everything I've talked about, definitely based on all the other artists that they made for festival passes like Metallica, The Weeknd, and Billie Eilish, those two are definitely one of the worst ones, because they're really not that great. They really didn't have anything good to offer. So yeah, they're definitely the worst ones, but Karol G is the worst. So based on everything, would I say she's the worst or this is the worst season? Yeah, but not really much as different to Lady Gaga, and it really hasn't really much offered many things good for this season, and it's not really something I like. I don't really like Karol G. Don't really like her music or anything. Just not a huge fan. Same thing with Lady Gaga, but I sort of enjoy more her songs than Karol G. And I understand. I'm not saying that um, Epic Games should stop, trying to make festival passes with different artists like this. I'm not saying that. I'm fine with them being more, diverse and changing different genres of songs, not just, hip hop or rock bands or whatever. I'm not trying to say that. I'm completely fine with them trying to go with different genres of songs or different genres of artists. I'm completely fine with that. It's just it all depends on how they make the pass and if it's good or not and worth doing. But that's all I really have to say about this. And I guess what I can say in total is I'm looking more forward to the Snoop Dogg event. And honestly, I'm pretty sure that the Snoop Dogg Festival Pass, even though it hasn't even come out yet, will definitely be better than The Weeknd or Billie Eilish. I'm predicting it right now. I know for a fact that it will be because I mean it's Snoop Dogg. He's been in many different games already, and I'm pretty sure that if Fortnite cooks and actually knows what they're doing for the next one until November 2nd, that it'll definitely be a good festival pass. I just know it. I know it will, and I know for a fact that I'm hoping that they finally release Eminem "Lose Yourself" in that fucking pass already. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. I hope you enjoyed this long rant, or not really a rant, just sort of a talk on what's the best and what's the worst festival pass. So again, Karol G is definitely the worst season that we've gotten so far, but just barely compared to Lady Gaga. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time, whatever it will be. That's all I have to say. See ya.